it is hard to understand in ways, even if the means are provided for the drilling of the thousands of wells that would produce the good water plentifully for the deserts to grow the food for the people and animals and everything, that you have to deal with this government control of everything. They seem to...
But it's well-intentioned, but it sure doesn't turn out good. You know?
Yeah.
It invariably gets corrupted and otherwise misused. And, you know, I have come face to face with it. In my lifetime, I've drilled a countless number of wells, and still I'm hoping to go to Australia and help out in New South Wales. You know,
mm-hmm.
that is the end, and those are that are in most critical need. But look, even at home here, some of the native tribes in here, my God, you know, they might as well be in Africa. You know.
Yeah, that's what this earth is dealing with right now, that we see, that we're aware of, is the powers that be seemingly don't care about others. They only care about themselves, and even the wells they would control. They have the power to control it with armies and everything. They would be selling the water to the people, even if the good water was provided. That's what we're dealing with on this earth. Powers that are all for themselves instead of for everyone. And until that seems to change...
maybe one good morning day we will wake up and put on a different overcoat. I hope so. I listen to people like this guy, this coffee magnate. You know, he's complaining because the government is not taxing him enough. You know, of course, none of them. It occurred to them that he could use that money for some good. If he's got too much of it, he should give it to either to the people that really need it. He could go down to San Francisco and collect some of those people that are defecating on the streets there. I mean, really. And how about the army veterans here that are sleeping in the streets too?
Sure.
I get kind of, you kind of feel helpless, but I'm sticking to my projects because I can do some good. The minute you get into politics, it's a problem.
Do you think that you'll be able to deal with the government there in South Wales, Australia?
Now they're seriously investigating because look at the consequences. The consequences are not only costly. I mean, hell, you can't kill off thousands and thousands of head of cattle in a place where there is not going to be regrowth either, because that soil now is sterile from 5 feet on down. You're going to have to figure out how to reinvent the microbes and the other bacteria to let even grass grow, provided you have water to water it. You know, we have so much to do. These kids don't have to be on drugs and wandering the streets and stuff like that, and gangs. You've got to get educators that really want to teach, not just collect money. Everything is money only anymore.
Now, have you been approached by any government or city, county officials, or is it all private land that you've been drilling on?
Well, in the past, most of it has been private. The only non-private organization that I have any respect for, and really a lot of respect for, is the Rotary clubs. The Rotary is good people. I worked with them, and that's an international club, and everybody kicks in a little money, and then we get to drill water wells and get water. Just really proud of that one that I just did a while back. And unfortunately, in Africa, my goodness, now we have solar pumps that can pump up to 50 gallons of water a minute.
And have you gotten any resistance from the government in any way from doing this?
in Africa, you simply have to put a couple of bucks in certain people's pockets, and they let you go ahead and help out. You have to pay so you can help. Imagine that. But at least you can do it. In here, help. Half the time you don't know who's out to get you or who's out to who you're supposed to pay. I mean, it's gotten beyond imagination. How corrupt the system in here gotten. Since I've been a young man and I come here, it has gotten considerably more corrupt over the years. Permitting, and that was the major way of limiting everything. You don't get a permit. They give you such a runaround that simply you don't get permits.
Now there's primarywater.org. Are you affiliated with them, or and then who else is doing what you're doing? Anybody? Nobody.
Well, what they have done is they have borrowed. They have borrowed our poster, our copyrighted poster. I'm way too old to get into a legal hassle with anybody because they'll take up all the time. I don't have time for that. And besides, they can go out there and one group just did a deal in Madagascar. They borrowed my poster, everything, and pretended like I was involved. Well, I wasn't involved. And later on, I find out that yes, they drilled. They got sun water, nowhere near what the expectation was, and all that. So, I'm not connected with primarywater.org. There is one lady that does a podcast that is good. I like her. She's level-headed. And
Deborah Tavares. Yes.
Yes, I like her. She's okay. And she's a little bit. She's far out on some of this stuff. I don't necessarily agree with every point that she's making, but as far as water goes, she is sincere, and I enjoyed giving her an interview a long time ago, and since then I got to work with her on some projects that she pointed my direction and helped certain people basically to find me. But this is the best way to find is right through our website, because we are Primary Water Institute. There's only one.
Are you mentoring? You mentioned young people. Are you mentoring anybody to follow your footsteps?
I have one as we speak in New Zealand. Hopefully he'll join us in Australia. And I have another one in Kenya, Africa, and I have one around Sacramento. I just need to line up at least a half a dozen wells to drill all together so I can get those guys out there and observe, because with this, it takes more than just simple memorizing and reading. Even if you understand the concept, you have to feel sure enough, confident enough to make locations and drill them. But yes, I have but a handful. I hope to add at least another half a dozen before checkout time. And I have one in Europe.
Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, we need that.
So I don't mind. I am not a good beggar. I don't like to beg. I appreciate any contributions to the institute from because I do use it for, in fact, more than that. I'm spending my own money as well. Whenever I have to, whatever I can put up, I do.
If Sandy's on, anybody else would like to ask a question or comment?
Well, I don't have any questions right now, but I want to thank you, sir, for stepping up and doing what you're doing for the planet. It's wonderful, and for mentoring these people who are following or can follow in your footsteps. We need this, for sure, for the planet to survive. So I thank you again for being on the show. Thank you.
It has been a privilege. I thank you. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else, Tim?
Oh, I was just thinking how we've all seen what's taken place in the last couple hundred years here on Earth. And have you heard of the new presentation, The Wonderful Worldwide Educators?
No.
They have a connection to real guidance and a real education about why things are, what's really real about life, about different physical, astral, causal, mental, and etheric bodies that we use here in this psych realm experience, and the whys, why it is this way, why it's changed from the natural environment that man had until just, 200-300 years ago. It was pretty pure, the water and the air and the food, except for, volcanic activity and all of that. But it does look at the present like this world is getting worse, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be changing. So what's really important is to find out about these real universes where there's real freedom and where everybody is a real being of light and free to do what they want without all this interference, as long as they don't interfere with others, that we are having the effects of here on Earth because of the causes of others, whether they're alien or like you say, politicians or this stuff to deal with, because they're getting more and more control of everything. And for their benefit, if they, like these reptilians, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, they don't want us to have clean air and clean water and clean food. They live off of our energies, and the more that they have this control, it's called a human farming prison planet. That's what the Earth has become because of them. They're the cause of all this. How they've convinced others the way to think and act and live, whether they put out these drugs now to everybody and all the influences of the doctor saying, oh, you got to take this drug and you got to take that drug. And so they convince everybody that, oh, that's what we got to do. And it's just getting to the point where what's really important, because we may have, it sounds like, come through millions of lifetimes and many worlds, and that if a person doesn't want to come back to a lot worse world, this one speck of dust out of all this foreverness, because there's many worlds we could come back to besides this one, into these psych realm bodies. What's really important is to get a connection to not have to return, like reincarnate into a worse poisoned and controlled place, that we can be free. So that's pretty much what this new you song is about. It's showing what's called real guides, that you're sincere about letting people know what's real, what's really going on, what life is all about, the experience and the lessons that we go through here, and all the reasons why the ocean is being polluted, because everybody's been so dumbed down and uncaring about the very earth we live on, and the water we drink, and the food we eat, and the air we breathe. It seems like, oh, it's okay. Millions and millions and millions of vehicles and planes and boats polluting the air constantly, and thinking, oh, that's fine. It'll just get better or something, or whether they believe in saviors going to come and fix everything or not. that's kind of what we've got to think about, the bigger picture, not just this life on this earth for our short physical time on it, but if there is such a thing as being forever, that we will be existing, whether we have these physical bodies or not. So mankind's got to come to the point where he's becoming aware of what life actually is, why we go through these experiences and these lifetimes and all of that stuff. It gets to the point where what is really important about life. Yeah. Even with the best water and the best food and the best air, it wouldn't matter. People would continue to do the same thing that has caused all this pollution, and with the aliens' involvement too, convincing them that everything's okay. Just keep on doing the same stuff. You don't need to change. Just it gets to be a serious study about what the purpose is, why it is this way. To become really aware of the situation, the cause and effect stuff. But we're thankful to have the discussion about the water and your ability to find it, and with the resources that you would be able to provide it with your ones that you're teaching, instructing all over the earth. That would be a very good thing. That's what we're involved with. The wonderful worldwide educators have projects too, real similar, to provide clean water for those people that don't have it, and to make people aware of how to make better choices so that we don't pollute and eat wholesome.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I lost you.
Yeah, I'm here. Tim, I think Tim dropped though.
Okay.
So we're about to the end here. Yeah, really thank you, Paul, for coming on. I mean, it was really a valuable hour spent with you.
The only I have a chance to stress is that the chief advantage to this water, this primary water, is that we are drilling it into solid rock, and we are able to seal the contaminants from the atmosphere or from any surface contaminants out of the well. You understand? Hello?
Yes, you're not bringing up any contaminants, or by not drilling it.
You are not. Contaminants will not affect this water in the well because it is in solid rock. It is not in alluvium, and you can seal off into solid rock, however many feet, if you have to, up to 50 feet or more from the surface. So none of the surface contaminants, whether they come from the atmosphere or by human occupancy or animals or whatever, chemicals, you are forever. You're not. You cannot pollute it.
Yeah, that makes sense, Paul.
Okay. Anyhow, I wanted to stress that I didn't get to do that, but perhaps in one of your broadcasts you might and we are primarywaterinstitute.org, so we are readily. You can look us up anytime and communicate.
Yeah, we will stay in touch because our projects in Baja are coming up, and we want to, further this because it makes sense and it's a benefit for all. So that's what I think we're all talking about the same thing in that respect. So I really thank you for coming on, Paul. It was great information.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. See you later.